This farm had belonged to my family for 3 generations. Every fence, every field, and every gravel road carried years of hard work. I never imagined my biggest problem would come from the neighborhood next door. Every afternoon, the same black SUV cut straight across my private farm road. Dust covered my crops, and fresh tire tracks appeared where no vehicle belonged. The damage grew worse every day. Young corn stalks were flattened, and even my irrigation line had been crushed beneath the heavy tires. I politely asked her to use the public road instead. She laughed, claiming the shortcut saved her several minutes every day. To avoid any misunderstanding, I installed bright warning signs at every entrance. Anyone driving through would have no excuse for ignoring them. The signs made no difference. She drove past every one of them as if my property belonged to the HOA instead of my family. I decided to verify every property line with county records. The documents confirmed exactly what I already knew. The road was entirely on my land. A licensed surveyor placed fresh boundary markers along the road. The new measurements removed any doubt about where my property began and ended. Instead of accepting the facts, Karen insisted the HOA had always used the road. Her confidence grew louder, even as the evidence pointed the other way. I had tried polite conversations, warning signs, and official surveys. If Karen continued ignoring every notice, the next chapter of this dispute will be decided by the choices she made. After confirming every property line, I upgraded the entrance to my private service road. Bright warning signs left no doubt that unauthorized vehicles were not allowed beyond that point. I made sure every notice was easy to see from a distance. Anyone entering the road would be making a deliberate choice to ignore the warnings. Karen slowed down just long enough to read the signs. Instead of turning around, she smiled confidently and continued toward the farm road. I stayed well away from the roadway and simply watched. The decision to continue was entirely hers after passing every visible notice. Moments later, the SUV rolled to a stop with all 4 tires flat. Karen jumped out in disbelief, realizing her shortcut had just become the longest trip home. Karen demanded that I pay for the damage. I quietly pointed to the warning signs and the official survey confirming the road was private property. Within minutes, neighbors gathered to see what had happened. Many admitted they had always used the public road because they knew this road belonged to farm. The sheriff's deputies listened carefully to both sides. Their first priority was documenting the location, the warning signs, and the official property boundaries. The paperwork matched the visible boundary markers exactly. Every document confirmed that the service road was private and properly marked. As the tow truck carried the SUV away, the argument shifted from opinions to documented facts. Karen had ignored every warning, and now the real consequences would be settled through the proper legal and insurance process. The deputies carefully reviewed every detail before reaching any conclusions. The posted signs, survey markers, and county records all told the same story. The surveyor confirmed that the service road had always been part of my family's property. There was no public easement and no HOA ownership. An insurance adjuster documented the entire scene. Every photo showed the clearly posted warnings that had been visible before Karen entered the road. Karen tried to convince the HOA board that someone else was responsible, but the evidence left very little room for disagreement. The HOA board reviewed the records for themselves. For the first time, many members realized they had relied on incorrect assumptions for years. While others argued, I focused on repairing my farm. The fields needed attention, and that mattered far more than endless disputes. From that day forward, Karen began using the public road like everyone else. The shortcut across my property was finally a thing of the past. Several neighbors stopped by to apologize for the misunderstanding. Respect for property rights helped restore trust throughout the community. With the conflict behind me, the farm returned to what it had always been, a place built on hard work, responsibility, and respect for the land. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this HOA story, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss a new story. And tell us in the comments, where are you watching from? We'd love to hear from you.